early, but we got one. Okay, it's 4 o'clock on Thursday, March 12th, 2020. We have a quorum, so I'll call this library board meeting to order. First item up is the approval of the agenda, which everyone has on their pads before them. So I will make a motion that we approve the agenda as shown. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any additions or corrections?
Nope.
All right, okay, we're good to go on that. So all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carried. Next up, we have the introduction of the Programming and Technology Services Librarian and the board members. Not the best day to meet all the board members. You know, almost half the group is gone, but we'll give it a whirl. So do you want to introduce him, Paulina?
Sure, we're excited. This is Leroy Nosker Tanner. He started on March the 2nd.
Yeah, we'll go around the room and we can start, well, you know, April and Paulina.
I'm Geraldine Schellberg.
I'm Vince Borgo.
Margaret Blomberg.
David Wenlin.
Carl Zeidler.
All right, well, welcome. And hope you're getting to know the area and the job.
Yes.
So.
You want to go to the microphone? Yes.
Leroy, could you give us your 2-minute version of your background and give us a little
Okay,
who you
sure.
are?
So again, my name is Leroy Nosker Tanner. I grew up in Wisconsin, just outside of Eau Claire, and we just moved here after 5.5 years in Arizona, so things are a bit different. I worked for a county library system down there, and I earned my master's in library and information science from the University of Arizona. We're very happy to be back up here in the Midwest, close to family. Grandparents are very excited. My wife and I have 4 kids, and we're very much liking New Ulm, and I'm getting into the job and excited to be able to take on all my duties and get to know more people in the community. So,
Welcome.
Good to have you.
thank you.
Thanks. All right, now we'll move on to the approval of the minutes from the February 13th, 2020 meeting. Hope everyone's had a chance to read through them. And so I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the February 13th, 2020 meeting.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion, corrections, edits that anybody knows of? All right, hearing none, then all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carried. Next up, financial report for February 2020. Paulina?
Okay, we are 17.48% through 2020, and our budget is approximately 12.16% expended. Our contractual maintenance equipment expenditures this month included a monthly remittance to Verizon for $105.03. Otherwise, everything else looks pretty normal for this time of year. We did recently get our bill for the meeting room a tech upgrade, so that will more than likely show up in next month's.
So has that been completed then?
It has been completed,
Okay.
yes. So it's very slick. We're very excited.
So everybody's happy, you're happy, and New Cat is happy, and, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, they completed that last week. So that will be up on next month's report, as well as the first payment to TDS for the year. We do get 2 bills from them, and that one just came in as well. But otherwise, everything looks good.
Okay. One question I did have was looking through the revenue and expenses, and I see that the group dental insurance is at almost 114%. Is that a one-time payment, or is that
I
a
believe
mistake,
so.
or is that?
I will double check with the finance department. That kind of jumped out at me
Yeah,
as
because
well.
everything else, all the other insurances are at where they're tracking, they should be tracking. So I don't know if that's just a one-time payment and you're
That
done
could
for the
be.
year.
I'll double check for next
Okay.
time.
All right, any other questions for Paulina on the financial report? All right, we'll move on to the librarian's report, starting off with the library department activities report and statistics.
Sure.
Paulina?
So So, the Youth Services Librarian hosted the new Moms of Preschoolers group for a special story time on February 14th. They read books about Valentine's Day, sang songs, and learned how to say I love you in ASL and enjoyed a special treat. There were 37 attendees. Let me see. The NARN held their children's program for fashion on February 22nd. We had 130 people attend. Festivities included crafts and games, singing and dancing, a story time, and an introduction to the NARN. Adult basic education classes continue on Tuesdays, as well as a free text preparation at the libraries on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We're very excited to have Leroy on board. Like I mentioned, he started on March the 2nd. Otherwise, we finally have a Brown County representative to the Brown County, to the Traverse des Sioux Library Board. Thank you to Carl for volunteering for that. His appointment will more than likely be approved at the county commissioners meeting on Tuesday, and the first meeting will be on Thursday of next week, and all the Brown County librarians extend their thank you. Otherwise, statistics all look pretty good. Let me go. I can continue on. As I was completing the 2019 annual report, Leroy was able to make these very cool graphs for me to kind of give an overview of 2019 for us. We answered about over 10,000 reference questions. We circed about 171,000 items. That's 159 physical items, 12,449 digital content uses. We share our collection, 24,000 items to other libraries, 23 items were shared with our library. And was interesting when I was pulling those numbers out of some of the reports. New Ulm actually shares about 10,000 more items to other TDS libraries than Blue Earth, which was kind of surprising, at least their main library. We had about 48 volunteers giving 463 hours of service, and that includes our friends. Our door count was 114,286. Our current library patrons, including reciprocal, is about 7,800. We had 13,818 uses of our public computers, and that includes does not include the 32,000 wireless connections. And our website visits to the library page were about 100,000. We had 146 children's programs with 4,900 attendees, 10 teen programs with 65 attendees, and 178 adult programs with 2,000 attendees. So that's a bit of a look of what we did last year. And then we also have how that compares over a 5-year span in our door count, physical collection, circulation of items, things like that.
All right, any questions for Paulina on the? I did see in the one of the write-ups there that volunteer Betty Roiger was in there.
yeah.
She couldn't stay away, could
No,
she?
she could not. No. She's helping. I believe there's talk of this year's summer reading theme is fairy tales. So they've been talking about doing some kind of castle when you walk into the library or somewhere.
It looked like it was said it was in the children's room or something. She's
yeah, in the
building a
children's
castle
room.
wall.
Yeah.
So the children's room's gonna get a lot of updating.
Right,
We're-
yeah.
We're gonna get repainted and everything too, so.
So that brings us to the Children's Room Committee. They met on February 27th. So I don't know if I mentioned it at last month's meeting, some of the concerns for the bathrooms have been addressed. Our maintenance technician was able to suspend the soft close tension bars on the doors, so they're easily opened and closed by the youngest patrons, so kids can open those more easily. He also replaced the faucets with motion sensor models that are easily activated and deactivated for hand washing. Before we had, I believe, like the buttons that kind of don't stay on. We had some difficulty with that. Otherwise, one of the committee members created a design board so they can kind of play around with the storytime area, kind of decide furniture, things like that, just to figure out maybe different layouts of the area. But yeah, and then obviously we received some bids for painting for that.
Okay. So are the faucets really that easy to use? Did you try it? If they're
Yes,
like
I
at the
did.
airports,
They're
they're
amazing. Yeah. I went up there
Okay.
to try them out. Yeah.
sometimes at the airports. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know, it's not working, and
They do take batteries. It looks like so we do. So if they
Oh.
don't work, we just have to replace the batteries.
is there like a little LED that tells you that the batteries are low or anything?
I don't know. We haven't. We'll see how fast those go up.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So anything for Paulina on all of those reports? All right. Then we'll move on to programming. April.
In adult programs, the Minnesota Valley Civil War Roundtable will meet on Tuesday, March 17th at 6:30 p.m. Joe Gartner will be presenting a great-grandson's perspective on his Civil War ancestors. Sue Hoppel of Village Arts and Pottery in Searles will be presenting the history of jewelry making on Monday, March 30th at 6:30 p.m. The attendees will have a chance to make a piece of jewelry, or they may also bring their own pieces of jewelry to rework. The library will be hosting a screening of the Screenagers documentary on Tuesday, March 31st at 6:30 p.m. Lori Pickell Stengel of the United Way will be facilitating a discussion following the film. The film is about the impact of the digital age on children and how to help minimize harmful effects and find balance in their lives. We also will have screenings and discussion at the Springfield Public Library on Thursday, March 19th at 6:30 p.m. and at the Dykeman Free Library in Sleepy Eye on Thursday, March 26th at 6:30 p.m. And the schools in the three communities are also doing screenings for their students of a version of the documentary that is aimed at the students. Dick Kimmel and Kelly Coyle will be the featured performers at the Wednesday, April 8th Noon Tunes performance, which starts at 12 p.m. Kimmel and Coyle play bluegrass music on the guitar, mandolin, mountain dulcimer, and the banjo. In our upcoming children's programs, we have the ECFE hosting a bedtime story time at 6 p.m. on Wednesday, March 18th. That'll be the last bedtime story time for this school year. Lego Club meets on Thursday, March 19th from 3:30 to 5 p.m. That's open to children ages 5 and older, and they'll have a chance to either complete a building challenge or free build during that time. Students in grades 5 through 8 are invited to Blacklight Bingo from 3:30 to 4:30 p.m. on Friday, March 20th. We'll be playing bingo in Blacklight down in our meeting room, and we'll have snacks and have a chance for kids to win prizes. We encourage them to wear something white so that they show up in the blacklight. Registration is required for that program. On Wednesday, March 25th, the Wednesday Wonder Club will meet at 3:30 p.m. Attendees should be in 2nd through 4th grade and will explore a scientific principle through fun hands-on activities. Registration is also required for that program. Anyone who is interested in registering for those programs can visit the library or call 507-359-8331 to register. I can take any questions.
All right. Thanks, April.
Welcome.
All right. Now we'll move on to the action items. The first one being Resolution 2020-03, approving updates to the circulation policy and library card application and adoption of an organizational library card application. This is the second reading and adoption. We had the first reading last month. The circulation policy was last reviewed in 2015. The policy needs to be updated to reflect the library's new fine-free status. Stated language has been included that a library card, a proof of identification, must be presented to check out materials from the library. Library card application has not been reviewed since 2010. The updates are to streamline and make the application easy to use. Included in the policy is a new paragraph regarding organizational library cards. Enclosed is the new application to be adopted. There has been interest from local organizations for library cards to be used at workplaces. several libraries in the Traverse des Sioux Library Cooperative issue organizational library cards. This application is a means to hold the applying organization responsible for material contacts checkout under their organization. Attached is also a copy of the updated policy with deleted material and added material noted, as well as the library card application and organizational library card application. These changes are recommended by the library director and the assistant library director and have been reviewed by the city attorney. So I will waive the reading of the new circulation policy. I read through it, and some of the questions that I had were answered in last month's meeting, and they were put in the meeting minutes, namely the questions about 16-year-olds, if they have an ID or don't have an ID, and then also the if they are if the book is overdue or an item is overdue, they get a charge put on their card or on their account, and then if it gets returned, then that charge gets removed.
And we've noticed recently that if an item on an account is billed to the account, that means other items a patron has checked out do not automatically renew, which was something
okay.
we came across. So we couldn't figure out why someone's items were not renewed, but then discovered that they had an item on the account at that same time that had been billed.
Okay.
So that is something else to be.
So if they wanted to come in and take out something new, would that prevent them from checking that out as well then?
Yes, if it's over $10, yes.
Okay.
Billed.
So basically they gotta pony up the,
Yeah,
return
and
the
return
item.
something in, yeah.
Okay. All right, so I'll entertain a motion to approve the updates to the circulation policy and the library card application and the adoption of an organizational library card application.
I'll so move, but I would
We'll have a
like
discussion.
to ask a question once we get to that point.
Okay. So I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I have a second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second, so now we have time for discussion. Carl?
I think that what the chair was just talking about partially answers my question, but I just wanted to make sure that the fines and fee structure that apply to the employer organizational card, let's say, are those the same as they do for individual patrons? I mean, they're not being fined or penalized any differently.
No.
And then the other question is when, in the, I think it was rights and obligations section or wherever, talked about if an item isn't returned, it blocks the card.
Yes.
Does that block the card for anybody within the organization, so no one associated with the organization can check anything out?
It would be only one contact person or two would be able to check items out. So yes, it would block the use of that card for
But
the
it would
organization.
not block their personal cards.
Right.
Okay.
So for the organizational card, there's only one person per organization that basically has.
Has the
ability-
actual card, yeah.
Okay.
Mhm. Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions or discussion? All right, hearing none then, all in favor of approving the updates to the circulation policy and the library card application and the adoption of an organizational library card application, say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, motion carried. Next item, Resolution 2020-06, approving the recommendation to dispose of surplus library items. This is the first reading and adoption. The library has a large surplus of magazine file boxes, approximately 125, which are currently in the library storage. These magazine files have been unused for the past several years because the library has decreased the number of print magazines to which it subscribes and has decreased the number of years that it retains back issues of magazines. The library does not anticipate a future need for such a large number of magazine files and recommends surplusing 70 of them. The library replaced all staff office chairs in late 2019. There are 8 old chairs that will be unused in the future, Many are in various stages of disrepair, and the library does not anticipate a future need for them. These items will be first made available to all city departments. Library recommends selling any remaining magazine file boxes for $2 each. They would be available for sale on a first-come, first-served basis during regular library hours. Revenues from the sales would go to Fund 211-5500-36200 miscellaneous. The library recommends disposing of any remaining chairs through a local recycling program or discarding them. So I will entertain a motion to approve the recommendation to dispose of surplus library items as described.
So move.
Second.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? Any questions? So how would the file boxes then, how would that be made known that they're available? I mean, would you have like a few out and say these are
Yeah,
for sale and then?
Yeah, I think last time we had them, like by our book sale area. We could maybe even put it on social media, something like that, just to make people aware that they're out there.
Okay.
What are
Right.
they made of?
Some are, I think all of them are plastic, aren't they, April? They're all plastic, yeah. Yeah, I've seen a lot of, I think, orange and black ones, something like that,
Tan.
and tan, yeah.
So then on the, how long do you propose to leave them out there? I mean, what if you don't sell them all and it's been months? I mean,
I think, I don't know, what did we do last time?
I think last time we got rid of somewhere between 100 and 200 of
oh,
them.
wow.
And they sat out there for a few months, and we just kind of trickled through
Okay.
them and would put out more as we had space for it, but it took a few months to get rid of
Oh.
them.
All right. Well, that's good to know. Okay. And then the recommendation then for the furniture, then it was just gonna junk that or recycle it.
I was gonna offer it up to other city departments and see if anyone's interested, take some pictures of what we have and then go
Okay.
from there. Some are pretty, they're well used, so, and we'll see.
Okay. All right. Any other questions or discussion? All right. Then all in favor of approving the recommendation to dispose of surplus library items as described, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Right, motion carried. All right, now we go into resolution 2020-07, awarding the bid for carpet replacement. This is the first reading and adoption. The library sent requests for bids pertaining to replacing carpet on the first floor of the main building. The areas in the bid include the service desk area, the entrance, and the stairs leading to the first floor from Broadway. The elevator floors, 2 flights of stairs leading from the first floor to the meeting room, and an internal staff area and the staff area. It was requested vendors send both rolled carpet and carpet tile pricing for the project. Bids were sent to 4 vendors and posted on the city's website and social media. 3 vendors submitted quotes. The request for bids requested information about quote length, furniture moving, and pricing for work to be completed after hours. The bid request and quotes are attached, but the bid totals came in as follows with the summaries shown here. Hiller for rolled carpet came in at $23,364, and then for carpet tiles, $28,315. And those prices include the after-hours work on Monday through Thursday nights. Nolan Furniture broke the quotes down into the different areas, and their total came into for rolled carpet, $20,938, and for carpet tiles, $29,113. However, Paulina mentioned that these bids do not include the after-hours work, correct?
Right, no, if you look at the, cover sheet of the bid.
I think it's $2,900, $1,800 for one, and $1,100 for another.
Yeah, for the 1,100 includes the main building staff area, and 1,800 includes main building, first floor of library, and main building stairs leading to first floor and entry. So that would be in addition to what's listed there.
So that would be a total of 2,900 then for, so if you add 2,900 to that, that would then make the bid
A little higher, yeah.
equal
Equitable.
to the Hiller bid. And then the third one is Pullman Lumber. So I'm just gonna read the evening removal and install, adding the 1,200 to each quote. So they came in for rolled carpet at 20,327.53, and for the carpet tiles, $23,338.67. And Design Home decided no quote.
Mhm.
They're the ones who did not
Yeah.
submit a quote.
Yeah. And I was also, someone else requested information for the project as well, but I believe they were from out of state.
Okay.
I think they saw it on the website, city's website or somewhere, but they never submitted anything.
Okay. So as part of the 2020 budget, the library board approved the use of monies from the fund balance for this project. It is indicated in the budget under library interior renovation, which is 211-5500-500153. The library director recommends closing the library while work is done in the public space areas by the service desk. So,
Potentially doing that, yeah. Hiller in the quote also mentioned that if they were to do all the work after hours, it would take up to 2 weeks.
okay.
So I was maybe debating whether or not, if we were to schedule this and the painting and children's at the same time, we would be able to close the library potentially.
Oh, because I know that when we get into the next bit on the painting, you talked about closing the children's section.
Yeah.
So we might as well,
Maybe just do, yeah, since we check out most materials from the service desk, so that would be greatly impacted.
okay. So based on this then, it looks like with pricing, including the removal and the install, that Pullman lumber comes in
Mhm.
as the best. And I'm assuming we want to go with rolled carpet.
Maybe carpet tiles, I think, has been recommended by all three, so.
Really?
Mhm, mhm.
Okay.
However, the stairs, the way I phrased the bid was for all the stairs to be rolled carpet,
Correct,
and then
yep.
carpet tiles
Yeah,
in all the public areas.
Tile doesn't
yeah.
work so well on stairs because of the
Right,
the
yeah,
backing
so
and
that was
has it.
part of the RFP, so. But either one works for us, but it is like all of this building is carpet tiles.
Okay, so if we did that, so if we went with rolled carpet for the stairs then and carpet tiles for the big sections, would the pricing then be reflective of that, or?
That is the pricing for the carpet tiles, that rolled carpet stairs is
Oh,
included
okay.
in all these prices, yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
that's good to
That's
know.
why that, if you look at New Ulm Furniture, so like 2 and to 5, those are the stairways.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay,
So it's the same price. So that's rolled carpet on both of that.
okay,
The carpet tiles would also include less moving of
Right.
furniture, especially in the staff
Stuff area.
workroom.
Mhm.
Is that the advantage of the tiles, is not only that, but ease of replacement in
Yes.
specific areas when you
Mhm.
need to?
and
Would
so
be, yeah.
would you be getting like some,
Extras?
extras to stash away so that if you needed to replace?
Could do that, yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
I know at 3M, all our remodeling in the last few years we've replaced strictly with carpet tile, and even up in the 3M Center, they've done all carpet tile. I mean, you can do a wide variety of things, but I think part of it is the ease of installation. It goes pretty quick, and also the replaceability. We've had some where, we've had a tear or something, and they just come in and
Mhm.
replace it, and that doesn't disrupt anything.
Mhm.
Is that a glued product, or is it matted on the?
I believe it's like some kind of adhesive.
Yeah. It's an adhesive, but it allows for, it holds the tiles down securely, but you can remove it without tearing the backing off the tiling.
Mhm.
In light of what happened earlier in this process, did all of the bids that you received comply with the RFP requirements?
Yes. Mhm.
It's good to know. So we want to make sure that we've got an apples to apples comparison here then. All right, any other questions or discussion?
One question, does this include the children's area or no?
No, it does not.
Okay, but was there a discussion that the children's area will be getting carpeting?
Yes, it is on the slate for
It's
our
on the
5,
slate,
yeah.
okay.
So I was hoping, maybe not this round, but maybe later in the year we could, as we we were hoping to paint first and then do the recarpeting after we move
Right.
the
That's a good idea.
desk, more than
Yeah.
likely.
Yeah,
But we have to figure out the desk and the wiring,
Yep.
so,
Yep.
yeah.
okay.
And we knew we were gonna do carpeting and phasing anyways.
Right, oh yeah, absolutely. I just know we had talked about it at the children's, and so they were discussing some of the process, and when I read this, I was like, well, I don't know if that's
No.
included, so I
No.
just needed to confirm.
Not
Thank
yet.
you.
All right, so then, based on the discussion that we've had, I would then entertain a motion to award the bid for the carpet replacement to Pullman Lumber for the carpet tile installation with their bid at $23,338.67.
So move.
A second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion, questions?
One further question, that is, one of the reasons we delayed this was to see how the roof would hold up
Mhm.
come spring, and I don't know that we've had a real test yet with snow melting.
We've had plenty
that
of,
can
yeah, we've had plenty of melting, so.
Yeah, oh, we
But
haven't
How
had
has it been going over there with the roof issue?
I'm scared to say. No, it's going well.
Good.
So it's
Okay.
going very well. We haven't had any issues on the area we're replacing. So I don't think this is wood. But yeah, and the children's is holding up well. I know we had we patched some areas upstairs, and we haven't had any issues.
Okay.
So hopefully we don't get any rain from here on out.
Good luck.
We still do not know the exact timing on this, do we?
No, and I was yeah, no.
Okay.
I was looking at potentially late April if I could try to schedule both of them at the
Okay.
same time.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have as much programming up in children's at that time. I haven't looked at the community calendar though, so we'll have to also take that into account if we were to close for a day or two.
And then that would give you enough time for the carpet supplier to get the
Right, all the
carpet.
materials, yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
And now, have you picked out the pattern or anything like
No,
that? That's to be
nothing yet, yeah.
afterwards. Okay, so
Mhm,
this
yeah.
pricing is regardless of the, I'm sure
Mhm.
they'll give you the, okay,
Yeah,
for this
what
pricing, here's
they
what you can
have,
pick
yeah.
from.
Mhm.
Okay. All right, any other questions or discussion? All right, then all in favor of awarding the bid of $23,338.67 for carpet tiles to Pullman Lumber, say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, motion carried. Then we roll into the resolution 2020-08, awarding the bid for painting of the children's room. This is the first reading and adoption. The library sent requests for painting bids for the children's room committee. The bids were sent to several vendors and posted on the city's website and social media. 4 vendors submitted quotes. The quotations are enclosed. Here's the summary. Mike's Collision and Tire came in at $8,100, which includes all paints and materials. Paint Boy Custom Painting came in at $3,708, which includes paint and all materials. Dan believes that it would take 5 to 7 days to complete, depending on the time we choose for the work to be done each day. Glazer Painting came in at $3,575, which includes paints and materials. And Mertz Painting came in at $2,900, which includes labor and materials, but not paint, with the work to be done during daytime hours. He did estimate that the job take 3 days if the library were closed. Then there's $3,400, includes labor and materials, but not paint again, for the work to be done after library hours, and it estimated to take 3 or 4 days doing it that way. And they estimated the paint to be between $400 and $600. The paint chosen for the project is Benjamin Moore's Regal Select Interior Paint Eggshell, number 549, splash 2059-60. It is estimated that 7 to 10 gallons may be needed at a cost of $59 per gallon, for a cost between $413 and $590. The library would be responsible for moving furniture and shelving, and for the repair to all water-damaged areas of the ceiling and walls. The Children's Committee met on March 27th, and they recommend the Mertz's daytime hour bid of $2,900, even with the purchase of the paint, which, according to their estimate, if you round up, is $600. Worst case, that would come to $3,500. So they would still be the lowest of all the bidders. The library director recommends closing the children's area to patrons during the time of painting.
And that, the paint includes, I believe, two coats. And, the paint color for the ceiling of the children's room is a little bit similar to this. So it's not all wall space to be painted. So that could be maybe a gallon or less, but that will not be that blue splash color. It'll be a white or beige kind of color, and that, I believe that paint is also included in this.
Are you saying they have a drop ceiling in there?
Yeah, it's
with
like a
the-
drop ceiling, like something similar to this.
with-
So
with-
it's just, not like right here, but it's like around more. So
Okay.
it's a little bit more intricate, but not really. you
Okay,
know.
so it's not the whole ceiling?
So it's
that
not the
they're-
whole ceiling, no.
There was one bid that didn't include the cost of the paint in their estimate. Does that comply with the RFP requirements?
I believe so. We didn't specifically, I believe, call for paint. Oh, I should check that. That's a good question.
Essentially, they're not bound to any,
Mhm.
if it's not in their bid,
Mhm.
the cost of the paint, where the other bids were.
Well, Mertz Painting, which is the one that the committee recommends, because they came in with the lowest bid, even with the $400 to $600 estimate for the paint that they put in,
Mhm.
and then the pricing for the paint came to $59 per gallon. They estimate 10 gallons at the top end, which would be $5.90. So they're in the ballpark with the, if you throw in their paint price.
So we can tie them to that amount?
Yes. Mhm.
So then we would have them buy the paint then as part of their bid, or we buy the paint and
We
then?
buy the paint. We were
Okay.
figuring we would buy the paint.
Okay, so the total cost of the project,
From
still
their end
with,
would be, yeah. Mhm.
with Mertz coming in would still be at 3,500, which would be the lowest.
Mhm.
All right, any other questions or discussion? All right, so then I will entertain a motion to award the bid for the painting of the children's room to Mertz Painting for their quoted price at, I think it would be $2,900, which is labor and materials, but not paint, but the library would pay for the paint, then I'm assuming. And then the work to be done during daytime hours, and then the library director recommending closing the children's area during the time of painting. So do I have a motion for that?
So move.
I second it.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion or questions?
One last point of clarification, I apologize. Do the other two bids, do they give you a price for the work less the cost of the paint?
Oh, no, they did not.
So we don't know what their price would be less the cost of the paint if we were to go buy the paint.
No.
That's a good question. Yep.
I think that's where you might have an issue, I don't know. But
Okay.
I just wanted to make sure that we understood that, if we're gonna move forward with this.
Yeah, the RFQ read, the New Ulm Public Library Children's Room Committee is requesting quotations for painting of the children's room. We are seeking two colors, one on the walls and one on the ceiling, not the full ceiling, the borders of the ceiling. Please provide a bid for the painting of the inside of the children's room walls and ceiling, including any preparation, masking materials, equipment, and labor that would encompass. Was stated the library colors again. The area is approximately 2,400 total square feet.
So that didn't seem to include the cost of the paint.
And it didn't really specify the paint though either,
No,
did it?
it did not,
It
unless it excluded.
did. The second paragraph, there will be two different colors. The color on the walls will be Benjamin Moore Splash, and the ceiling color will be an off-white color.
Okay, so if you specify the brand of the paint and
Mhm.
then the paint number,
Right.
then I would think that things should be equal and that the paint vendors would be getting them at a similar cost. But you're right, we don't, for the first three vendors, we don't know what they're paying for the paint.
We're not talking a lot of money.
No.
Okay.
All right, well, all in favor of awarding the bid for painting the children's room to Mertz, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carried. And then, as the time gets closer here, we'll figure out how we wanna, handle, sounds like we'll be closing the children's areas regardless for the painting, and then we'll coordinate that with the carpeting and,
That's the goal.
or at least maybe
yes.
a portion of the carpeting.
Yep.
Okay. All right, and the last item is Resolution 2020-09, approving Minnesota Single Library Report 2019 for the New Ulm Public Library. This is the first reading and adoption by state law. A submission of the 2019 Minnesota Single Public Library Report for New Ulm Public Library is a submission of the library board and must be approved by it. Attached is a copy of the report for New Ulm Public Library as prepared by Library Director Paulina Poplawska. So it's a pretty intensive report. We're assuming that everything in there is the true and accurate to the
I
best
hope
of your
so.
knowledge. Yeah. Yeah.
The
Claim
numbers
user-
kind of mesh in after a while.
Okay. Is it pretty straightforward to fill that out then?
Yeah, it's not too bad. And Chris Wiley left amazing instructions on
Oh,
it.
well, good.
So, yeah. So it's
Good.
really nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember we've had to look at these before, and then, yeah, there's just pages and pages of data and stuff, so. So then I will entertain a motion to approve the Minnesota Single Public Library Report 2019 for the New Ulm Public Library.
So move.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Questions?
Good job.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
So then all in favor of approving the Minnesota Single Public Library Report 2019 for New Ulm Public Library, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carried. And other business, upcoming library board member vacancies. This is a
Yes.
tough topic.
It is. So unfortunately, David and Emily will be leaving us on the board in April, May, something like that. So we'll have two library board member vacancies. We do have several people interested in.
Oh, good.
So I'm hoping to get some names in to the mayor, and then the city council at the first meeting of the month next month. So.
Okay. And then, how long does it take to get them on board? Then it'll be
We're
when
pretty much like I think
Okay.
right after, yeah.
all right. And then, yeah, I know Emily, she just came on the board, so I work with her husband. I gave him heck about taking a new job with 3M and transferring, and I said, I really don't care about your career. I said, she just joined the board though, and but I guess she's gonna stay till his job was effective, I think.
March or April,
Yeah.
kind of early.
So, but he's gonna go on ahead, and then because they have kids in school, they're gonna stick around for the school year anyway. So, and I'm assuming that's pretty similar for you then.
Right. I have accepted a teaching position in Wisconsin, so I'm moving to Madison
Okay.
this summer.
Yeah, a little bigger than New Ulm.
A little bit.
Is it a school district in Madison?
It's a private school.
Okay, great. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll miss you.
Yeah.
Because we're always waiting on you at the meeting.
I
So,
know. Driving over from Sleepy Eye.
all right. Any other issues? Any other business to discuss?
Nope.
Anybody else? All right. Hearing none, then we're adjourned. Thanks, everyone.
Awesome.
Thank you.